don't think there's significant slippage on Odell Beckham Jr. I just don't think he wants to be there. He's miserable, and he's trying to get himself out.
She named former Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. and comedian Drewski as two of those who her.
10 years ago, Odell Beckham Jr. was on top of the world. He was by far the most popular athlete in America. After just one season, people had declared him the best wide receiver in the NFL. He had popularized the one-handed catch, but after years of bad luck, turmoil, and now even potential prison time, we are currently witnessing the downfall of Odell Beckham Jr. But how did we get here? Will he ever play in the NFL ever again? But more importantly, how did a receiver with as much potential as Randy Moss have his career cut short? Now, before we get to the content, this video is sponsored by Prize Picks. We've been making a lot of money using my brand new live pick strategy on Prize Picks, and we're ramping up for the tail end of the NBA season. I give away my picks on Instagram at The Flight Mike and on Patreon at Mikerophone. And use my promo code Mikerophone to get $50 when you make a play of $5 or more. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Before we talk about the downfall of Odell Beckham Jr., we need to establish how he got to the top in the first place. OBJ was drafted 12th overall out of LSU and was immediately a superstar. Of course, OBJ was helped by the fact that he played in New York, which was the largest market in the nation, but it helped even more that he can make insane catches like this one, or this one. And if you don't like any of those, what about the one catch that made him famous? This incredible leap over Brandon Carr, who committed a defensive pass interference. This was the play that catapulted OBJ into stardom. Instead of just being Rookie of the Year, which by the way, of course he won, he became a global icon. Keep in mind, OBJ did all this while missing the first 4 games of the season with a hamstring injury.
I've been doing this, as you well know, a long time. I have never ever seen anything like this catch in pro football.
It's the best catch I've ever seen, Skip.
Do you understand how difficult it is to make Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless agree on something? OBJ was literally bringing sports media together. At the time, it was not insane to say OBJ was a generational talent. In his first 3 years in New York, Odell Beckham Jr. put up over 4,100 receiving yards and 35 touchdown receptions, even going on to earn Pro Bowl honors all 3 seasons, and was a 2-time All-Pro selection. I want to make it clear that OBJ was doing this with the corpse of Eli Manning throwing him the football. Odell Beckham Jr. was a cultural icon at this point. He was put on the cover of Madden after just 1 season, and kids all across the nation were going to their barber asking for the Odell Beckham Jr. haircut. OBJ wasn't just a football player, he was culturally prominent. But then in 2017, something would happen that would follow him his entire NFL career.
It's a slant route thrown a little bit high by Eli Manning. Oh, and you can see that left ankle.
Odell Beckham Jr. had fractured his ankle. Despite the injuries, the Giants still gave OBJ a 5-year, $95 million deal. During his 5th season, while fighting a quad injury towards the end of the season, OBJ put up just over 1,000 receiving yards and 6 touchdown receptions. But more importantly, after the season, rumors were circulating that the New York Giants were trying to trade OBJ. But of course, their general manager, David Gettleman, tried to deny that by famously saying,
"We didn't sign him to trade him, if that's what you're asking."
This is incredibly funny because less than 3 months after this quote, OBJ was shipped off to the Cleveland Browns for Jabril Peppers, a 1st-round pick and a 3rd-round pick. In theory, Odell was brought in to give Baker Mayfield a real #1 option, but the pair were anything but good together.
Odell was wide open.
Right.
Put the ball on him.
Because of Baker Mayfield, period. That's why they haven't been able to get him going. He's been inaccurate.
Odell's got to go. You got to get him up out of there. There's no reason on earth for him to be a Cleveland Brown. And I blame Baker Mayfield.
If you weren't paying attention to the Cleveland Browns in the late 2010s, I feel bad for you. The Baker and OBJ beef was insane. It wasn't just that though. The Browns literally consulted Baker Mayfield after his rookie season about who he wanted to be head coach. So they hired Freddie Kitchens for 2019, who, let me be blunt, was offensively inept. OBJ's dad was posting videos and liking tweets about how Baker needed to give his son the football more. Even LeBron James was tweeting out free OBJ. It was insane. But more importantly, something happened that permanently altered OBJ's career forever. For the first time in his career, OBJ would tear his ACL. Odell would miss the entire 2020 season after this injury, but 2021 was even more of a disaster. It was clear that the Cleveland Browns didn't trust OBJ off of a torn ACL, as he had 0 touchdown receptions in his first 6 games that that season. Even after pushing for a trade, Odell remained on the team by the end of the trade deadline, resulting in the Browns just releasing him. After this, he would sign with the LA Rams and reminded all of us of who he could be. In 12 games with the LA Rams, including regular season and postseason, OBJ put up nearly 600 yards and 7 touchdown receptions, including this grab in the Super Bowl, which would not only give the Rams an early lead, but would be the highlight of his short Super Bowl appearance. Soon after this play, Odell would leave the game with a knee injury, soon diagnosed as a second ACL tear. For those keeping track though, this was OBJ's third major injury in 6 years, and his second torn ACL in 3 years. This was devastating news, but what was even more insane is that OBJ tore his ACL without ever even having one. You heard that correctly. According to a Rams team doctor, apparently during his first ACL tear in Cleveland, the procedure was so poorly executed, it left him without an ACL. So that meant that OBJ balled out for the Rams with just one ACL. After this all came out, the OBJ sweepstakes began. He was coming off of a major injury, but he was a Super Bowl champion and had shown that he was still elite in Los Angeles. Nothing could stop OBJ, well, except for one thing. After tearing his ACL for the second time in 3 years during the Super Bowl, OBJ was forced to miss the entire 2022 season, rehabbing his injury. This was the lowest moment of OBJ's entire career, as he even admitted that he contemplated retiring after this injury. Thankfully, he didn't, and the OBJ sweepstakes officially began after 2022 during the offseason. This was an insane time to be a football fan. Aaron Rodgers was on the trade block, Tom Brady had retired for the last time, and of course, OBJ was a free agent. But this was also the moment in time that OBJ was kicked off of an airplane for belligerent behavior. The flight attendants told police that OBJ was unresponsive and refused to put on his seatbelt before departing. Obviously, this is just one side, and OBJ has his own story of what happened, but still, this wasn't good for Odell. Even if he wasn't at fault, NFL teams will see the words unresponsive and uncooperative in a headline, and based on that are more unlikely to sign the player. Luckily, this wouldn't come back to bite him, as OBJ would end up signing with the Ravens to play in 2023. The only problem was he clearly wasn't the same player. OBJ started 6 games, gaining 565 receiving yards and just 3 touchdowns. The next season in 2024, he would sign with the Miami Dolphins, but he had to miss the first 5 games of the season recovering from a knee surgery. This also led to nowhere for Odell, as he was waived in December on his own accord, citing the desire to play for a contender. Unfortunately, his wish never came true, as nobody took his contract off waivers, and he was forced to sit out the remainder of the season as a free agent. As of the end of this current season, OBJ's only hope to return to an NFL roster is to play the role he's given. But for some reason, Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't understand this, and reportedly has a short list of teams he's willing to play for. But all of that was thrown out of the window after massive news hit the NFL landscape.
Odell Beckham Jr. and comedian Drewski are speaking out after they have been allegedly accused of assault in this amended Diddy lawsuit.
In March of 2025, an amended lawsuit was dropped alleging that Odell Beckham Jr. and Drewski attended and participated in Diddy parties. OBJ would respond to this saying, "I have been informed of the allegations about me in a suit in California. I really can't even believe that my name is mentioned in that matter. There is absolutely no truth to those allegations. I do not know and have never met the person that filed the suit. I was not anywhere near Orinda, California at that time. In fact, I don't think I've ever even been to Orinda, California. I've never done anything like that, and I would never do anything like that to anyone. I'm confident that these ridiculous claims against me will be dismissed." In this video, I will not be going into full detail about the lawsuit, but if you're interested, we have a video entirely discussing that, going over both sides and what could happen to OBJ. But what I will talk about is how this will affect OBJ no matter what. Even if the lawsuit is ridiculous, even if Odell Beckham Jr. is innocent, there's a chance that since these are just claims in a lawsuit, it won't matter. Teams won't want to sign a veteran backup wide receiver who brings unnecessary attention. So because of that, Odell Beckham Jr.'s career might be over. If these allegations are all false, I do feel bad for OBJ. One of his only wishes at the end of his career was wanting to go out a winner on his own terms, but this is the furthest situation from that. But because his career is probably over, I want to make a few things very clear, and that's how we should remember OBJ. Odell Beckham Jr. was Justin Jefferson before he was in the league. In 2016, OBJ became the first wide receiver in NFL history to have 1,000 yards and 80 receptions in the first 3 years of his career. He literally led the NFL in yards per game as a rookie and yards per touch in 2016. Justin Jefferson now holds the NFL record for most yards through a receiver's first 3 seasons. But before him, OBJ was 40 yards short of tying Randy Moss for that same record. We are legitimately talking about a fringe Hall of Famer with OBJ, and his cultural relevance might take him to Hall of Famer status. Plus, it's important to keep in mind that OBJ was doing this with a washed-up Eli Manning, a 70-year-old Tom Coughlin, and one of the worst NFL head coaches in Giants history in Ben McAdoo. It's not like he had a great supporting cast. OBJ was a large part of why the Giants won 11 games in 2016, the most wins in the franchise's history since 2008. Before and after he was traded to Cleveland, OBJ was still a perennial 1,000-yard receiver, hauling in over 2,000 yards and 10 touchdowns the 2 seasons after he broke his ankle. I don't think it's up for debate, but I believe that's where Odell Beckham Jr. is such an enigmatic Hall of Fame candidate. He has 5 seasons where he went over 1,000 yards receiving. He won a Super Bowl, but he didn't really have the opportunity to play much in that Super Bowl, and the longevity simply isn't there, but his peak was remarkable. After 1 broken ankle, 2 ACL tears, one of which left him with no ACL for over a year, and here's the product we have: a wide receiver with a world's worth of talent who had never lived up to the hype because of injuries and bad management. His career is full of so many what ifs. What if OBJ never broke his ankle? What if OBJ was never traded to Cleveland? What if OBJ never tore his ACL? What if OBJ worked out with Baker Mayfield? What if OBJ never tore his ACL again in the Super Bowl? What if OBJ's first ACL surgery wasn't botched? Do you see what I'm saying? There are so many unfortunate incidents in this man's career that had happened to throw him off of his Hall of Fame trajectory, and it's just a shame to see his talent thrown away for reasons that aren't his fault. Obviously, I'm saying all of this unaware of if OBJ is truly guilty of the crimes that he was alleged to commit. I'm purely speaking on the field. I hope one day the New York Giants retire number 13, but I really doubt it. Not only was OBJ on pace to become the best Giants wide receiver ever, he was a cultural icon. But who knows? Maybe they will. Either way, OBJ's career will be categorized as one that never met its full potential, and one with so many questions surrounding it. What do you think caused OBJ's career to plummet? Was it an injury, a trade, or was it his own fault? Or do you think he was a victim of circumstance? Do you think Odell Beckham Jr. deserves to go to the Hall of Fame? Or do you think I'm making this video prematurely and one more team for the 3rd consecutive year will give OBJ a chance to play for them? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.